My name is Lisa Calderon. I've been a CPC member. I had to ask Miriam, how long has CPC been around? 15 years, so it was shortly after they started. So I've been a long-time CPC member. And one of the things that I have learned from CPC is that you aren't ever alone in your fight. So I was with them when they really fought to make sure that the coalition was really representative of lots of different people like in this room, right? So we fought to make sure that it was an inclusive group of people, that we fought for folks who did not otherwise have a voice. They were there when I wanted to get the cops out of my neighborhood because they kept racially profiling my son. And so, you know, it was just 5 people, including a couple from CPC, and we did it in our in our campaign, talking to the neighborhood. And you know, and the police are now afraid of me, CPC folks, Kim back there with Denver Weekly News, because we band together, we get the word out and to say we're not going to stand for this, we're not going to stand for mistreatment. So coming to now the latest fight, right, which we did never think we would be in. And first I'm going to start with the bad news, and then I brought my husband up here to give the good news. The bad news is that we got a foreclosure notice, we didn't get a notice. We found out our home was in foreclosure over being $1,000 behind on a $25,000 second mortgage. And so this is how I found this out. We've had this loan for 4 years. A second mortgage for $25,000. It was shortly after we moved into our home, and we wanted to catch up on bills. You know, the same old thing, oh, we got equity in our home. Well, the first thing that, looking back now, our home was overappraised. We bought our home for $324,000. We live in the Cole neighborhood. When the bank sent out the appraiser, it was appraised at $425,000. Oh my God. So, no questions asked, we got this loan. And like I said, our original loan was for $25,000. Guess how much we owe today after making 4 years of payments? $25,000. Our balance has not gone down whatsoever. So we have that. So basically, at this point, I'm really sick of this bank. They send hate mail, essentially. You know, and let me just tell you how we got behind with this payment. I actually worked in Boulder for 12 years as a legal director at Battered Women's Program. And I made a decision with my family to change careers, and I went into teaching at Metro State College. So I was doing something that I loved, but I also took a $12,000 a year hit to do it. And I worked that job for 2 years, which meant we were behind $24,000 in income that we would have otherwise had. Thank you, honey. You know, and it was hard, right? So that meant that we got behind in bills, but we were paying our bills. But what that did is it gave the bank leverage to always be harassing and to say, you know, you're gonna be in default, you're in default, and we make the payment late, but we'd make the payment, you're in default, okay, fine. So finally I got to the point a couple of months ago that we have no negotiating capacity with this bank, or you know, it's a one-sided transaction. So they would send us letters, they would harass, they would call them at work, they would call until we finally said, you can't call us at work, we know our rights, don't call us at work. Until finally I said, I'm not accepting your terms anymore. So I want someone who can really help and stop sending me notices that you can help. When I call, you reject me when I ask for that help. So then finally, last week I got this letter, actually two weeks ago. It wasn't a modification, actually. Yeah, we did a modification a couple years ago, but our balance is still at 25, so that didn't help us much, right? And they won't adjust the interest rate. It's 11%. Oh my God. Yeah. So, and it was originally with U.S. Bank, and they sold it to City Mortgage. So City Mortgage has been the ones who have been really harassing, and you don't get a say when they sell your mortgage, right? They just do it, and then you have to comply. So the reason we found out is actually it was a couple of weeks ago, because it took us 3 weeks to get an appointment for assistance. A letter from a local attorney and said, you know, your home is in foreclosure, something to that effect, or we're about to foreclose. It was something kind of abstract. It didn't quite say we're going after your home, but it said, you know, you get a letter from attorneys, you're in trouble. So right away, I made an appointment with Brothers Redevelopment. I don't know how many of you have used that, but basically there are organizations that have gotten stimulus money to help people renegotiate their loans, or, you know, it just kind of depends because people's situations are different. It took me 3 weeks to get into an appointment, and we had a filing date of January 31st. This is what they told us, actually, not Brothers Redevelopment, but city mortgage attorneys. They accelerated our $25,000 loan. That if we didn't pay $25,000, we would lose our home. That's what the letter essentially said. So I took that letter to Brothers Redevelopment, and the guy listened to my story, and then I also told him something that I had forgotten, which was there were photographers the bank sent out to my house, and I talked to them twice. So they had been planning for months to take our home. So mind you, being behind $1,000 to take a $300,000 home. And so what the guy from Brothers Redevelopment told me is, they're not interested in working with you. They want your home. And so you just need to, you can actually fight this on your own and then that's the good news, which I'll turn over now to my honey bear, Darius.
Before I start, I just want to thank CPC for organizing this. I work for the city and county of Denver. I actually am the director of the Denver Anti-Discrimination Office. And I am the American Indian liaison to the mayor and the city. And I work a lot with art and the racial profiling initiative that CPC has. And it's pretty amazing, and we all do great work. So anyhow, the good news, back to Lisa's story. Here's a document. It's called the Notice of Intent to Cure Default. You ever heard of that? I see one head. I see a couple of heads. It's a one. Yeah, you worked. That's the Stephanie O'Malley's clerk and recorder's office, first floor, 201 South. No, I'm giving the wrong address. 201 West Colfax. That's the Wellington Web Building. Yeah, where you pay your parking tickets. You basically walk into the clerk and recorder's office, go all the way to the back to the public trustees. We work in that office. Yeah. And it's a one-page form. You fill it out, and basically it's sent to the city sends it out on your behalf to the attorney that Lisa was talking about, and basically it tells them and instructs them that they need to now, they have 10 days to get with us to basically tell us that we're $1,000, and the city kind of intervenes and basically creates an opportunity for us to give the city the money. The city then hands it over to them, and we're current. So I think big recommendation is pull in Stephanie O'Malley's office. You know, she's decided not to run, and this may be a really good opportunity to develop a partnership, CPC, with the office, Stephanie O'Malley's office, and it was that easy. I walked out of there, I was like, man, how easy was that? So I think part of it is just knowing your rights. Right.
So just the last thing I want to say is banks lie.
Yes.
Right? So when they told us we had to pay $25,000, when in actuality all we had to pay was what we were in that arrears. But if we didn't, you know, find out about our rights, we could have lost our home over $1,000. That is crazy. So, you know, definitely if it could, that's why I was telling CPC, if it can happen to us, right now I'm the director of a reentry program helping people to get on their feet from jail to community. If it can happen to us as professionals who make a good salary and they can put our home on the market, actually Brothers Redevelopment looked it up, our home was already put on the auction block set for June. And they didn't give us any notice. They didn't tell us how to cure this. We had to find it out on our own. So definitely if you're overwhelmed by it, know that you're not alone, and definitely ask for help and ally with with us with CPC, the Colorado Progressive Coalition. Thank you.
Since I seem to be a step ahead of everyone else, I have a combined notice of sale and notice of right to redeem and cure. So, in my case, the only way that this helps me though is if I can go in and add them $30,000 or whatever they say up front, right?
I don't know. But I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay, so wonders never cease. They tell you one thing, but it's really another. So this is a learning opportunity. I didn't know about that notice of intent to cure. If that's all it takes, then we've had a lot of losses for no reason. Okay, we had one other speaker, Sandra Dehill. Are you here? Oh, she got stuck at work. Boss man went off. That's right. All right, then. Well, then now you kind of have a better understanding of what people are going through dealing with these banks and mortgages and foreclosures and how complicated it's been. It really doesn't need to be. So now, you ready for some action?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to introduce to you Ben Hanna, who's the organizing director with Colorado Progressive Coalition. He's going to talk more about the national campaign, the Attorney General investigation, and then what to do from here. Come on up, Ben.